I don't know why, but I have had a particularly hard time collecting my thoughts about the next section. This chat is supposed to be about the Dark Ages from the 5th century to the 10th century. The Roman Empire collapsed. The last emperor of Rome was deposed in 476. After Constantine, the empire had split, and he had moved the main seat of governmental power to the east, and his predecessor, Theodosian, who, by the way, made Christianity the state religion, so he took it a step further than Constantine had, now believes that weren't Christian could be punished by capital punishment. Anyway, so we move forward, and the Roman Empire falls in the west. Rome is sacked, and the people spread out. The Jewish people go, some stay in Italy, some go to the Iberian Peninsula, and they are called the Sephardic Jews. That would be Spain and Portugal, and many go towards Central Europe, which would be France and Germany and Northern Italy, and those wind up being called Ashkenazi Jews. The sentiment of Christianity towards Judaism, and therefore Christian people towards Judaism, and by no means not everybody. Of course not everybody. Some people didn't, on a micro level, they were kind and generous to their Jewish neighbors. So it wasn't everyone, but as a whole, society got more aggressive in their trying to limit the Jews from economic participation. So you see that in the past it was against the law for Jewish people to have a public office or be in the military or serve in any way with the government. But now society added that you couldn't, as a Jew, own land, so Jewish people could not participate in farming, and as a Jewish person you couldn't be a member of a trade guild. So back then labor was organized by the guilds, and you couldn't get a job as a blacksmith if you weren't a member of the guild, and Jewish people couldn't, or any trade, and Jewish people couldn't be members of the guild, and so therefore they couldn't participate in those trades. And so they were really limited to what was open to them to make a living, and import-exports became something that many turned to. So that's kind of what happened. They call it the Dark Ages because it was a time of decreased economic capacity. It was a time of decreased intellectual exploration, and society diminished during this 500 years. And so what you have at the end of the quote-unquote Dark Ages, what you have by the 10th century, is a Christianity that is deeply against Jewish people. And by against, at this point, what it means is that they view Jewish people as egregious sinners who killed Christ, who were of the devil. And as the King of Spain said in one of his writings, they are a pollution unto our land. So that's the view, is that they actually shouldn't even be sharing the same space with us, and they don't deserve a way to make a living the same way we do. We are Christians, so therefore we should have this ability to make a living. In Central Europe, you find the frustration with Judaism rising to such a level that society begins to have compulsory conversions where they just force the Jews to become Christians. And in Spain, what you have are laws that are enacted during this time that make it almost impossible to live in Spain and be Jewish. So you see like the vice coming in on the Jewish people because of what they believed, because they believed that what we would call today is systemic racism, but they had a belief that their faith in God demanded that they set these people aside, that they create a world where Christianity was the pristine model, and anything outside of that needed to be stamped out. And that's the Dark Ages.